Hi, my name is Sylvan. I share mysterious stories that make you think, wonder, and question. And all of them will leave you intrigued. If you enjoy exploring the unknown, subscribe and join me on this journey.
In 19th century Victorian England, there was a young boy with a remarkable gift. He was able to see things others could not. From an early age, he could perceive glowing auras around people. Colors that reflected their health, emotions, and even the state of their souls. He could see the colors of life, death, and illness, and feel the past and future of those around him. Yet, his abilities made him an outcast, regarded as a freak by his parents and misunderstood by others. It wasn't until he met his wise and kind tutor, Mr. Patmore, that he realized his gift was something unique. Together, they embarked on a journey to explore the mysteries of the spirit world, the nature of life after death, and the truths of spiritual growth. In his early days, the boy didn't fully understand what he was seeing. The glowing halos around people, the spirits of the dead, and the ancient elves hiding in trees were all part of a hidden world. But as he grew, he began to comprehend that these visions were glimpses into another realm, and he started recording his experiences in a diary, documenting the strange and wonderful things he saw. Diary, February 19, 1885. The boy's heart was heavy as he sat to write in his diary one evening. He had just returned from a visit to the Arnold's house, where he had been invited for tea. As he sat with his mother in the morning room, he saw his Uncle Willie sitting in his father's chair, smiling warmly at him. But his father, returning home from work, went to sit down, only to be stopped by the boy's exclamation. "Don't sit there. Uncle Willie is sitting in that chair." His mother looked at him in confusion. "What are you talking about?" "Uncle Willie passed away 2 years ago," she said sternly, sending the boy upstairs with his sister Mildred. Once in his room, the boy asked her, "Did you see Uncle Willie sitting there?" "Of course not." "You're a liar, you bad child," she scolded. Feeling misunderstood and upset, he cried himself to sleep, hoping the pain would go away. As he wiped his tears with his nightgown, he suddenly saw a radiant figure at the edge of his bed. It was Jesus, glowing like the sunset, with a smile that brought comfort. "Forgive them," he whispered gently. "They do not know what they are doing." The boy felt a warmth and peace that helped him fall into a restful sleep. That night, he understood that despite the rejection from those around him, he was loved by a higher power. And though his family didn't understand him, he could take solace in the truth that Jesus watched over him, and he felt no anger toward his mother or father for their lack of understanding. Diary, June 1, 1885. The boy was taken to a grand estate in the southern port by Mrs. Croft, a wealthy friend of his mother. He was astonished by the opulence of her home, complete with a butler, though his mother explained that a butler in a private home was called a manservant instead. As they dined, the boy couldn't help but notice something strange about Mrs. Croft. Her face had a peculiar waxy color, and she spoke slowly as if something was amiss. There was a strange crab-like creature that seemed to follow her around, sending chills down his spine. But rather than speak up, he decided to stay quiet, remembering the earlier troubles caused by his outbursts. When he later saw her again, he realized that the crab was a manifestation of her illness. She had cancer, a fact that was confirmed shortly after, making the boy's uncanny ability to see the crab particularly eerie. Diary, June 23, 1885. The boy often visited his Uncle John's garden, where there stood an old tree that housed a mischievous little gnome. The gnome, with his long, thin legs and bright red hat, would emerge from the tree to walk around with an air of self-importance. His body, however, was the same color as the tree bark, blending in perfectly with the environment. The boy found him amusing, but didn't dare laugh out loud, fearing the gnome's wrath. When the boy shared his experiences with his friend Basso, Basso ridiculed him, dismissing his tales as fantasy. But the boy knew what he saw, and wished others could understand the strange but real world that lay hidden just beneath the surface. Diary, July 20th, 1886. One day, the boy saw his grandfather again. The old man told him that it was the spirits who had guided his father to hire Mr. Patmore as his tutor. They were pleased with the boy's progress and wanted him to continue his spiritual education. Grandfather also shared that the afterlife wasn't at all like people imagined. Heaven, he said, was much better than any description. He explained that, in the spirit world, souls could appear as they desired, young or old, healthy or sick, depending on what they wanted to project. The boy, curious as always, asked about his grandfather's appearance. "Did you look like an old man when you passed?" he asked. Grandfather laughed. "No, my dear, I appeared as I wished to. I chose to look old because I didn't want you to mistake me for anyone else." Diary, August 24th, 1886. One evening, after dinner, the boy saw a man in his room. They chatted for some time, but the boy couldn't place who he was. When Mr. Patmore heard about the encounter, he decided to investigate. The man, as it turned out, was a former friend of Mr. Patmore's, but one who was not so friendly. He introduced himself as Jimmy Cliff and was shocked that Mr. Patmore didn't recognize him. The man, however, still seemed confused. And Mr. Patmore soon realized that he was speaking to a soul who had not yet accepted his death. Jimmy, like many spirits, had not understood that he had passed. He still clung to his beliefs, rejecting the idea of the afterlife. He even claimed to have no memory of his death, only a vague recollection of his illness and the strange sense of peace he felt afterward. Mr. Patmore's questioning revealed something interesting. The spirit still saw the world of the living, but everything seemed fuzzy and distant, as though he were watching from far away. This was a phenomenon the boy had witnessed before souls who didn't yet realize. They had crossed over into the spirit realm. As Jimmy's presence faded, he grew frustrated. "I refuse to believe in souls. There is no afterlife. When we die, that's the end," he argued, before disappearing for good. Diary, September 19th, 1887. One day, the boy's grandfather returned to speak about love. "Love is the most important thing in the spirit world," he explained. "The souls who shine the brightest are not those of dukes or lords, but those who have the most love to give. Love is the key to happiness, both in life and in the afterlife." The boy, who had often wondered about the meaning of his strange visions, now understood that the true essence of the spirit world was love. It was the greatest force of all, more powerful than wealth or status. The boy's understanding of love and the spiritual world deepened when his grandfather visited again in 1887. He shared that in the afterlife, love was the highest form of existence, surpassing titles or wealth. The souls that shone brightest were those who radiated the most love, and this lesson became the boy's guiding principle. He learned that to be truly happy, one must embrace love for all beings, regardless of their flaws or flaws. Through his journal, the boy chronicled the extraordinary events he witnessed, conversations with spirits, glimpses into otherworldly realms, and the profound wisdom he gained from his interactions with Mr. Patmore and the spirits who visited him. His journey not only reshaped his own life, but offered a window into the unseen world that existed alongside the material one. As he grew, he came to understand that his ability was not a curse, but a gift that connected him to the eternal truths of existence and the boundless power of love that transcended death itself.
Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Share it, because some stories are meant to be discovered together. And stay curious. I'll see you in the next chapter.